Welcome to another episode of Botox and Burpees, the Bison 15. I have with me someone I've known for a long time at the gym. She's been at CrossFit Bison for 7 years. This is Ella Kinney. She has been a stalwart. She has been probably one of the most, I would say, supportive athletes that we have at the gym. Last year, she won the inaugural Steve Rice Spirit Award. Steve Rice was a member at our gym for a long time. He tragically passed away from a sudden health condition a couple of years ago. And that was very tragic. He was also someone I knew pretty well. I had worked out with him, had done competitions with him. So for Ella to win that award just sort of demonstrates how all of us at the gym feel about Ella, about her positivity, her attitude, her spirit, as the award that she won, just everything about her aura. I guess nowadays the young kids would say aura, right? So
Or
yeah,
maybe my vibe.
you're
I don't
aura
know.
maxing these days.
Oh,
So anyway, thank you so much, Ella, for
you're
joining me
welcome.
today.
Thanks for
Okay,
having me, Sam.
so
Really.
why don't I really appreciate it. Now, go ahead and I want to hear how you started. You have had such a very positive, can do, try hard attitude, but also a very light and not like, down or overly serious attitude towards your fitness.
Huh.
So where did you get that from? Tell me how you got started in terms of your fitnessing.
Fitnessing, always did stuff, sports as a kid, high school and college. And then after college, running was the easiest and cheapest thing to do. And it was just what I was comfortable with.
What
Um,
what did you do in high
go-
school and college,
High
sports wise?
school, like gymnastics and track, and then in college, a track athlete as well. So,
Oh,
long
what'd
jump
you
and triple
run?
jump. I
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't run in college. I was smart. I stuck with the field events. And I just did triple jump and long jump in college. So
Okay.
yeah, and that was a lot of fun. Those girls are still, my teammates are still some of my best friends today. So, it's you just like in a gym, you kind of sweat together, you suffer together. So yeah. And then like I said, and after college, I
And then you
just
said you got out of college. Yep.
yeah, and then just ran. Like running was the easiest thing, a decent pair of sneakers and a good sports bra and some road, and that's like the easiest and cheapest thing to do. And I did that for years. And even when I had kids, I had a jogging stroller. I mean, John bought me a double jogging stroller at once. I think I used it once. It was just too much, too heavy, too many kids. And then when I was 40, I decided to try a triathlon. So I did a few of those in my 40s. And then by the end of my 40s, I was 49 when I started at Bison. And by the end, I was running again, just doing a lot of running. And I think I did like 3 half marathons in about a year and a half because I just been running so much and I just signed up for them spontaneously. And then I got started at Bison in 2019. John had actually started about the year before me, like a good 15 months before. And he would come home and say, "Oh my gosh, like, I really think you'd like this." And I was like, no, thank you. No, hard pass. Like, I don't know what it is. He said something about barbells and weights. And I was like, no, it's not for me. Thank you though. But he would talk about the coaches and the great experience. And I was like, I don't understand what it is. I don't know what it is. And I'm not interested. And then Caitlin, my younger daughter, she turned 16 that year, and she had been doing some of the kids' classes with Terry and really, really liked it. And when she turned 16, she was like, I want to go to the real classes. And suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I'll totally go with you. This will be so fun. Like, because mother-daughter stuff. And we met Liz, who was wonderful and sunshine and welcoming. And it was all fun and games until she put a barbell in front of me. And then I was a deer in the headlights. I don't remember it. We did our 2 beginner things and I don't remember anything. I do remember I was saying to Caitlin, I'm like, there was a guy came in the gym with a dog, and the dog was like, dog right by his side, walked around the gym. And I remember Liz saying, "Oh yeah, he's a coach." And I asked Caitlin about it, and she's like, "I think it was Adam Storms." I'm like, I don't remember. I just remember seeing the dog and being like, will the dog come back? Cause that would be nice. Cause I was just in over my head with the barbell. Yeah. And it was just, I know. I was like, I again, didn't really know what CrossFit was, but John had just talked about weights and barbells. And, I was super conscious of, you're so hyper aware as a woman, like how important weightlifting is as you age. But I tried to do it on my own. I just didn't think a class was for me. Like John and I had gone down the P90X path a few years before. We were diligent about doing it like in our basement when we lived in Illinois. And it was good. It was important, but not so good about doing it by myself. And then we took our first class, Caitlin and I. And it was a Wednesday back when like it used to be like cardio and like more body weight stuff. And I don't remember. I don't remember anything about the workout. I have no idea what we did. I just remember being sprawled on the floor, catching my breath, wondering what had just happened. And Scotty Finan, sweet Scotty Finan came around with his, I know this is going to sound so ridiculous, but it changed everything for me. He just came around with this post-WOD fist bump, right? Customary, everyone in the class, good job. And I don't know what it was about that gesture, but it like spoke to me. I just thought, if that's what CrossFit is, if it's this camaraderie and community and like you made it, he didn't know me. He didn't know Caitlin. I was just some regular, some woman. And I'm like, if that's whatever that is, I want more of that. And I started coming regularly. And I can't remember of another kind of like form of exercise or class that I was like, yeah, I can't wait to go back, even though it killed me, even though, even though that whole summer I would go to a class and then still try to do my runs and just like totter around town on legs that were like jello and also felt like lead. I didn't know that was possible to happen simultaneously, but we kept coming back. And now John and I were doing this together and Caitlin was doing it. And it was so much fun. But, and that's kind of how I got started 7 years ago. So haven't looked back.
You know, it's so funny because I think all of us can obviously relate to that part of the community that speaks to us, that makes CrossFit so appealing in terms of shared suffering and, really sort of pushing yourself. But as I've seen you over the past 7 years, I would say, you know, you're not, I mean, none of us are people that are going to go to the games, and none of us are going to, most of us can't RX every workout. But you have continued to try to improve yourself on multiple levels, even though you're basically one of us, an everyday CrossFitter who has, non-superhuman abilities. We're not Annie Thorisdottir and we're not Matt Frazier, but you keep like pushing yourself. You keep working on skills. I've seen very few people work on skills the way you've worked on skills. What is it about you that, like, why are you doing that? Like, why?
I don't know. I don't know. Because you just keep thinking it's got to get better, and there's that little bit of taste of, when I started, I couldn't do pull-ups or push-ups. And now, like, I remember getting my first pull-up about 6 months later, and I'm like, gosh, this is great. And, and I'm really proud of the push-ups. And I know I've talked about this with you before. I think of you when there are push-ups in a workout because I know how you feel about standards. And I'm like, I fully expect you to say to me, those were the best 3 push-ups that I have ever seen, because at least because I still can't do big sets. But just, I'm waiting for you to stand and be like, those are the best 2 or 3 push-ups I've ever seen in my life. But I don't know. You just feel like there's only so much like I'm going to improve. Like I'm not going to suddenly put like 150 to 160 pounds over my head. It's just not going to happen. But why do I keep pushing? I don't know. It's fun. Like no more reason than it's just fun. I took the butterfly skills class with Liz and Adam back in the spring? And it was great just because I'm like, could I? And I don't think I'm meant for a butterfly pull-up. I don't think my shoulders are meant for butterfly pull-ups, but it was fun to just kind of understand like what the motion is and to think that maybe I can get a little better at it, but it's hard. I mean, that's the thing. It just, if you improve a level, then, the learning curve, like now your workouts are slower because you're doing a harder movement and it's like, but it's just, I find it fun. I mean, I'm not there's so many people that are so diligent about doing like extra accessory work and stuff. And I do try things, but, like I said, I just think it's fun. And open gym is one of my favorite places when I'm not talking.
I've noticed, I've noticed that, like, I will see your name on on the schedule for a workout that is scheduled maybe like 2 days in advance or 3 days in advance, and you already did it at open gym. Like you're
Mm,
someone who kind of works in a workout to try to get that done. I
yeah.
assume because of your schedule or because of how your time management is. How does that work out for you? What do you why do you love open gym so much? What makes it like the time that you can get your workouts in?
Well, I love open gym because like when I try to do a workout of the week in open gym, it's because I've looked ahead and I'm thinking I don't want to miss it. I'll try to get it done. Like this past week, I liked all 5 workouts look good, and I'm like, I can't do 5 days in a row. I just can't. But if I can do a midweek workout on a Sunday, then I can take a rest day in the middle. So that's what I think. The one I did last week, I don't remember what it was. It was okay. Like it's hard to get motivated on your own. And it was quiet. I mean, it was the middle of the summer. There's maybe 6 people in open gym. So it can be difficult to kind of get the same motivation, but at least I feel like I tried and still terrible at warming up on myself. Still absolutely 7 years of warm ups, and I can't remember a thing to do on my own of how I should warm up certain moves. But as far as open, I kind of laugh when like the open season is my favorite because it is when I get to watch everyone else do the workouts. That is really one of my favorite things about CrossFit is getting to watch other people do this stuff because it's incredible. And I cheering is my best sport. It's my best event.
I want to get
So
to that because you are the king of when it comes to events and big things that happen at the gym. Like you are probably one of the stalwarts for that. But last week, was it the Tuesday workout? Was it the pause back squats, or was it the 12
yeah, yeah,
pull-ups,
that's right.
six?
Pause
Which
back
one?
squats. It was the
Okay,
pause back
yeah,
squats, and then it was
hang power clean, strict sit-ups, lunges.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how did you and so um yeah, you're always at open gym, you're always smiling, you're always talking. And you have your crew now. You have people that you're close to, your friends, and I know you guys are very active on like group chats and stuff like that. So how did you get to know this group of your crew that you hang out with now?
It's, everyone was super friendly when I started, but it was a 6 a.m. and there's not a lot of chit chat, right? Like it was just, they're in there at 6 a.m. We're getting our work done. And Jen Martin, my friend and neighbor, one of a Bison OG, she started dragging me to Saturday WODs, which I have a complicated history with Saturday WODs. I feel like I must spend most of my time apologizing to my partner. So, but I can't help it. It's my, I just apologize the entire time. One time you partnered me with Adam Storms and I apologized to him the whole time. And then I went home and texted Brittany and apologized to her for apologizing. Like it was just a whole thing. But Jen started dragging me to Saturday workouts and she started taking me to Saturday workouts and to make friends. Like you're talking about stuff. And I can remember one specific Saturday. I don't remember when it was, but it was a beautiful Saturday morning. And then I was sitting with Jen and Susan and Kathy outside of the gym, just outside the gym on a Saturday. And we were talking about not CrossFit stuff. And that's when I felt like, oh my gosh, like I've made friends. Like like this is when you kind of you've expanded the walls of the gym, and it's not just about like that one thing that brought you together, but now you're just talking about your regular life, and I've made friends. So that is how that. And I remember what it's like to be new. You've talked about that with other people about how you try to say hi and say hello and check in on them and see how they're doing because it's daunting. It's daunting. Even if you're an experienced CrossFitter, going anywhere new, I think would be. Um, Especially in these group classes, these big group classes, like it's a little overwhelming. But so that's when I feel like I started to kind of make friends. Just a few months in, again, I was just because Jen would drag me to these partner workouts, and there's a little bit more time after, especially if you go to the 8:15. There's time to hang out afterwards and just chat. And even those pandemic workouts in the parking lot, like we were all stuck outside on blacktop next to a metal building in the middle of the day, like doing these workouts. It was like you said something about the shared trauma, right? Like there's something to be said about that. Like it bonds you. Um, yeah.
Why do you think women, I mean, and I don't want to stereotype, but I have to say, I'll go out on a limb and say that when
All
I
right.
see the women hanging out and talking at the gym, they're way more social. They're way more I don't want to say talky, but then the
Talking.
guys are like, in terms of like when guys get together at Bison, it's usually for like a very specific event, like
Right.
do the golf thing or
Right.
whatever. And
Right.
women have specific events too, like, you know, Katie had
Yeah.
her event. But you guys will often just like hang out and get to dinner together or do
Mm,
that. And you guys
yeah.
also share a lot about like non-CrossFit things, like your family or what you're going through, or all sorts of other things. Why is it that, do you think, women are so adept at that, and what can guys learn from that?
Hmm. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I personally might be an oversharer, so maybe that's why I tend to just automatically text my friends about anything. And I think that we all have that, like, um, just a little moment of just something to laugh about. I don't know what if I honestly couldn't speak to why guys are or are not like that. I think that there are definitely some bonding going on with the guys. You know what I mean? It's great to see. Like,
Sure.
maybe not in the gym as much, or maybe they're talking about other things. But why do we talk about? I don't know. I'm just a chatty Cathy. I'm an introvert to start, and then once I know you, you're not gonna you can't stop. I can't stop. I mean, John has left the room. He's left the building and he's waiting for me. And I tell him to take a separate car because I know I'm going to be talking. So it is
You
what
know,
it
that's so
is.
funny. Have you always been that way? Have you always been that social person that has connected with people always?
I don't, it's probably been more learned. I am a real introvert in a new situation. Like I am uncomfortable. I really am. Walking into a room full of people, it makes me nervous. Like I just don't like it. So I realized that sort of coping mechanism is to find someone that I can say hello to and talk about whatever. And now I don't feel as alone. I don't feel as awkward. And my father was a tremendous extrovert. Like he just could walk into a room and like the room lit up. And it was, but my brother and I were both just much more introverts. I mean, you guys would have loved my brother. He was a big guy like you guys, but also he actually was quiet. Like he did not talk until you talked to him and then he was cool, but it was just, and I just talk because maybe it's a little bit of nerves. So, but once I'm comfortable, like, yeah.
So let me ask you this. You have been CrossFitting for 7 years. What do you do it for? Is it because you want to make sure your body looks good? Is it because you are doing it strictly for health and you want to maintain that health? Are you looking for anything in particular when you're doing it? Like what are you thinking about about the why?
I want to be strong. Like, I'm 56 and, as you age and menopause, perimenopause, menopause and menopause, like
Uh-huh.
osteoporosis, bone density loss and just overall vitality and metabolism, like it's important. And I am stronger now than I was as a college athlete in, 19, 20 years old. And it's great. Like I
Uh-huh.
hope that I can keep doing this. Looking better, yeah, that does not hurt. That surely does not hurt. But definitely just to try to stay strong. Like we've had some conversations, John and I, about like retirement or what the future is going to look like, and how, as our kids get older. And I want to be an active person. I want to be an active person well as long as we can. And if my kids have kids, like I want to be able to do stuff with them. But I mean, that's like long term. But for sure, I want to be as strong as I can be reasonably, you know, um, and stay healthy, which gets to be the kicker as you get older. So, like
What do you do about
John,
nutrition, and how do you manage that?
um, I I grew up in a house that was pretty, my parents were both born and raised in Italy, so a lot of the Mediterranean diet. So I had very good examples in that. My father exercised every day in some form. My mom was a big walker. So I didn't really think about nutrition as much because it was, a lot of beans and lentils and and whatever. Not a ton of pasta, believe it or not, because my mom didn't like pasta, which I didn't know till she was older. Um, as I've gotten older, um, it does become more of a thing. Reset kind of helped me and John kind of figure out some ways. He did Whole 30 once, and it was an interesting challenge of like 30 days of 6 or 7 things that you're not supposed to have that are supposed to, the things that most inflame your gut. So it was kind of a learning lesson. And I had Kelly Cavan do my macros a couple of years ago to see where I was, maybe had some weaknesses because I just felt like the weight, I felt like menopause kind of hit all at once. I gained 5 pounds at the beginning of the month, and the next month I gained another 5 pounds. And there had been some stressors that month. My mom had passed. So I was like, all right, 10 pounds. That's a lot, but I'm sure it's just stress. I was eating chocolate for a week. It was a lot. I'm sure it'll be fine, you know. And then I got back to normal and I literally lost 1.5 pounds. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is my new weight now. So I just kind of being like, all right, what do I need to fine tune? Like really, like cookies and, sugar are definitely I like them. So so I have so I have to be a little bit more mindful of them. And my father always talked about like everything in moderation. So I do try to do that. Like I try to have a realistic attitude, but then sometimes I just can't. You cannot put a bowl of potato chips and sour cream and onion dip in front of me. I can't. I can't. I have no control. So I try not to just have it. I'm making some later for my barbecue that my sister-in-law is coming over, and I will try to be reasonable, but I can't. I can't always. But it's hard, and you try to. I think that kids. I mean, we have kids the same age, and I think they know so much more about it than we did at their age. Like whether it's because of the internet or whatever, or Instagram and TikTok, whatever. But I feel like they're so much more informed. In college, I don't know. I ate whatever I wanted. I wouldn't eat for hours before practice, and I have occasionally passed out on the side of the track during practice because I didn't have enough energy, and it wasn't until after college that I was like, I need food before I work out. Like, I'm not one of those people that can't. I have to have something to eat before I work out, even if it's just a banana. One morning, we were doing something, and I realized in the middle of the warm-up that I didn't eat my banana, so I made Bobby look through my bag to see if I had anything while I was warming up at the ring because I needed to eat
That is
something. I
such
have
an
to have something.
that is
Yeah.
such an Ella story. Like, yeah, I heard that. If someone told me that, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like Ella Kinney
Yeah.
in
And
a
he was a
nutshell, right
totally
there.
good sport about it. He went over my bag. He's like, oh, you got a Cliff Bar. I'm like, throw it. I can, because I just like, so yeah. So, so you do learn a lot about nutrition. And as you age, it does change. You can't eat what you used to be able to eat. I don't know how Nick is. Nick and Jack are the same age. And Jack has been, he's really been into cooking. But I'm trying to explain to him why you can't have steak 3 times a week, kid. You just can't. And he's like, why? And I'm like, you're going to
I
kill your
mean,
father. I mean, like, it just doesn't work. I'm like,
I
you
mean,
can eat it
RFK
at
Jr. might
19.
feel otherwise,
Oh,
but
well,
yes,
I don't want to talk
I
about
get it.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
But
just saying. But anyway,
yeah.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Well, let me ask you this then. I know you had been cutting back a little bit because of injury or injury.
Mm.
So talk a little bit about, as CrossFitters, I mean, anyone in any endeavor athletically will always encounter some sort of injury if you're pushing yourself. So talk a little bit about your injury history and how you deal with injuries in general.
Been fairly lucky. A couple summers ago, I really did a number on my shoulder. For a while, there was a concern that it was a tear in my rotator cuff. I was working on like overhead squats and snatches, and I just have terrible shoulder mobility, and I just really tweaked it really bad that whole summer. So, I mean, it was really, really painful, and I had to back off on workouts. I had to scale, and it was probably one of the most freeing summers. I was like, this is great. I mean, these workouts are not as hard. Like I can just, I'll run and I'll just not do the weights. This is awesome. Is this what it feels like to finish first in a workout? Like for the one time that I did it. But that was a long summer. And then I avoided like overhead stuff for a long time until this past year. But I did do the PT, I did the rehab, and I have, little aches and pains. And this past spring, I had a very weird, um, I I got a floater in my eye, which was a normal thing. But then on examination, it turned out that I had a tear and a hole in my retina that had to be cauterized. Yeah, yeah, it was weird. It was just a strange thing. Again, that damn partner workout. I was there, and suddenly this floater came. But when I went to a retina specialist, she's like, "That's normal, but I do see this other things. I can cauterize it right now." Great. So uncomfortable. She literally just took a laser, like point blank, and cauterized it. And then I'm like this, going, all right, well, can I exercise? And she's like, oh no, you can't do anything. No, nothing jarring, quote, literally, no running, jumping, or heavy lifting for close to a month. I know. And I was supposed to do high rocks with Tom Callahan, who was a sport about when I was like, I can't do it. But that was tough to come into classes and be like, I don't know if I can't, I can't do any jumping. I can't run. All right, I'll get on the bike. I think that like, she's like, no heavy lifting. I'm like, all right, well, how light is light? Like, am I going to blow my eyeball again? Like, it was a very tenuous time, but you want to come because you want to do something. And I think everyone who's been injured has felt that. Like, you want to come because the coaches are always so encouraging about, we'll find a way, we'll find something for you to do. But it can be really frustrating. It was a long summer. It was a long summer. It was a long few weeks.
Well, I hope you're
So
okay now,
totally,
and yeah, okay, good. And yes,
yeah,
I have seen a lot of athletes who have gone through stuff. I can think of two or three right off the top of my head in the morning who go in the back, they bike for a while. Like it's very frustrating. I've been that person on occasion where I'm watching the whole class workout. And although I will say it is very instructive when you're in the back watching everyone, because usually when you're in a class, you're very focused on doing your workout. But when you're sitting there watching all these other people work out, you learn a lot. I mean, you learn a lot about people, and you also learn a lot about like, how much you also want to get back into it as well.
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that's tough. Well, I'm glad that you've been pretty lucky about that. So
Not,
you,
knock on wood. Don't say it. Okay, knock on wood.
right. Same for me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so you've put yourself in competitions, like you said, you signed up for High Rocks. I've seen you
yeah,
do other competitions. What is it
yeah.
about competitions that why do you sign up for them? Why do you do them?
First time was a few years ago. Tom Callahan was looking for a partner, and he could not ask for a better partner. He's a terrific athlete, and he's incredibly supportive, and he's just very chill. So we did the 908 comp a couple times, and then we had done the Shrewsbury one the first time. And then I happened to ask about High Rocks. He said, you want to do it? I was like, okay, because you know I did. Um, and I think that even when I was just doing nothing but running, it's good to sign up for a race because you are doing all this training. What are you doing all this training for? Running is boring, right? So to kind of have something to shoot for and to do different kinds of workouts like intervals and sprints and tempo runs, to go to the starting line and to see what you can do. Similar to CrossFit, although I don't know how much more competing I have. I think the Open is going to be enough. And I did sign up for the Fittest of the Coast quad just because if someone says you should sign up for it because we're all going to do it anyway. I'm like, all right, no skin off my nose. We're going to do the classes anyway. But it is kind of fun to see, you guys talk about open magic. We've all seen it, and there's something to be said. Although the second someone is standing in front of me with a clipboard, like the nerves, like I don't know why, I still just get really, really nervous about it. Like it doesn't matter, even if it's in class. It's just, but that's not a bad thing. It's just how I am. So, yeah, it can be exciting and really, I really admire these people that are just doing all these comps on a regular basis. It's a lot. Like it's a lot to train for. It's a lot to stay in shape for, and also just have the drive and the grit and the get after it kind ofness. So I admire it. And again, I love to watch it. I like watching it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to say you are probably one of the best. Like if
Watchers.
we needed, or if I wanted anyone, well, to be to support, to cheer, to help with any sort of event, like you have been that person. I think probably in the top three at the gym in terms of people that have been so supportive of others. And is that just because you enjoy watching people suffer? Is that what it is?
Um, I don't. I don't enjoy watching people suffer, but I feel like, and I know, you and I think both are the ones that don't want people to cheer for us when we are the
Yes.
last ones.
Yes.
So it is kind of ironic that I'm like, come on, you can do it, pick it up. 10 seconds left, you got it. Because everyone's different, but I just feel like, I'll stop in the middle of my own workout and look around and be like, oh, good job, go, because I need a chance to catch my breath. And it has been, yeah. But no, I don't want to see anyone suffer, but I'm continually impressed that there are just the mindset of they can just keep driving when it is exhausting. And, I'm thinking I would quit. Like if you weren't standing here watching me, I would definitely probably quit. So I feel like maybe there's something to be said for your even if you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it because someone else is telling you to push or just, or maybe it just motivates you because inside you're screaming, please stop looking at me. Please stop looking at me. Is the clock? Please. So there was
That
just
you are the most. That's why you are the best person on the side, because you're the most entertaining yet positive and not negative person that
mm,
that could be there for somebody. So that is awesome.
I can
I've
be
seen that.
100% happy for you working out while I am complaining miserably about my own workout. Like, I'm not a quitter. I'll do it, but I'm going to complain about it the whole time. But
So,
yeah, so
so what are your goals in the future now, Ella? Like, what are you shooting for? What is it that you have planned for yourself? Do they dovetail with your retirement type plans or anything else at this point?
I don't know. John loves to have these conversations, and I am definitely like a head in the sand kind of like, I'm not ready to talk about it because he's thinking like, do we downsize? And I'm thinking we still have a kid in college. Like I'm not ready to go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
But we are, that much closer to 60 and to thinking of retirement and what that's going to look like and trying to be um, sensible about it and
Uh-huh.
make long-term plans. My plans for now are just to stay healthy, right? To keep exercising, um, and just to kind of support my kids who are kind of all over the place right now and to see where they're going to land and how I can kind of be around for them. That's all I got right now. That's really all I got. So nothing too deep, nothing too deep right now, but yeah, just trying to just kind of see what the next few years bring and just try to be mindful about long-term health. Um, um, my parents have both passed, John's dad has passed. And so, you know, uh, we have his mom and she's in great shape, but it does kind of put you in the mind of what can we do to prepare ourselves and to take a burden off of our kids and that kind of thing, just like long-term planning. So we're starting to kind of think of that, but nothing specific yet because I'm still not ready to talk about it. So, so
Okay.
it's not ready to talk about it. So,
Now that you look back so far, 7 years in, is there anything you would have done differently or started differently or in the middle of what you were doing, do differently in terms of your fitness career or what you've done?
no, I don't. I think everything happened as it happened. Um, you know, like I said, John started the year before me, and
Uh-huh.
we have both loved it so much. It is definitely just. But he talks about like, can you imagine if we found this in our 20s? And all I can think is, I would be so injured by now. After there, I can't. We would both be so broken if we had done this. But there is that sense of like, you look at these 20s and 30-year-olds and even these like 40-year-olds at the gym who are just, it's amazing. Like, what would it have been like if we'd started younger? But I think it's okay. I'm okay. I like where I am. I know it's good. It's all good. Happened the way it happened.
You have such a good perspective on everything, Ella. And I think the reason why you have such a great group of friends is because one, you're very entertaining, you're very funny, and you're also very self-deprecating, which you don't take yourself too seriously, although you are very focused on what you do. Does that make sense? Like you're somebody
Yes.
who really concentrates on what they do, but you don't sit there and puff it up like it's something like you are a main character in at the gym, but you don't give off main character energy, if that makes sense. So
Thank you, I think.
so, uh,
Okay.
so,
Well, thank you, I guess.
yeah,
I do. I do. I listen. I do enjoy it, and I just it's a great. I love. Again, we talk about community and what you guys have done there, and I love being part of it. It is. I hate to use that phrase, but it is a happy place, and it's such good people there, and I have made such good friends, and yeah. But I mean, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not going to the games. Like I'm going to complain about a workout and be scared of it, and just. I mean, poor Dave, because I'm always like, that was terrible. How could you do? That was awful. How could you do that?
I love that, and I think that no matter how many years we're into it, I feel the same way. I feel the same way before a workout. I feel the same way after a workout, and I feel like if we ever lose that sense of, um, holy cow, that was effing awful, like then we have somehow lost the ability to CrossFit, probably.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
yes.
All right.
So keep
Yeah.
keep
Share
doing what
share
you're doing,
trauma.
Ella. Yes,
Thanks,
keep
Sam.
keep telling Dave how terrible those workouts are. I thoroughly enjoy when he gets that feedback all the time.
Yeah. Poor guy. Poor side as well.
Anyway,
He's, yeah.
thank you so much, Ella, for sharing your story a little bit.
Thanks, Sam.
And I'm going to be very interested. I want to sort of check back with you and John in a couple of years and see like where you guys, because like I said, I have a feeling like you are at the cusp. You have kids and now all finally in college or beyond, and I want to see that next stage for a CrossFitter who's been around for that long and see what they do after that. So.
Well, we keep saying if we could just hang on long enough, maybe we'll start winning our race. If we could just hang on long enough, not going to happen.
I'm waiting for the new 90+ division, and I think I'll be there. I'll be ready.
They're amazing. These people are amazing. They're amazing.
I've seen the 70+, and they blow me away. And we have
incredible.
and we have 70+ guys. Ron and Bob Senior, and these guys blow me away every day as well.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Absolutely.
It's good to look forward to. It's good to know that it's possible. It's a great,
I can't wait.
So yeah.
Anyway,
thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you so much, Ella. I will see you at the gym very soon.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much again. Appreciate it.